Welcome back to another episode of To Be Quite Honest, your go-to podcast for deep conversations around the world of real estate and more. I remain your host, Norma, and with me today I have two special guests. You know, like all our guests are always very special, but this time I have a guest host and I have a guest. So I'm going to let my guest host introduce himself and then we'll go to our guest.
Hello everyone, my name is Eniola and I'm really glad to be here today.
Eniola, how does it feel like to be here today?
I mean, it's really exciting, I've seen from the back end, now I'm on the front end, and it's really exciting.
Like the lights, cameras.
One time only I'm here, so
Might not be one time, but you might be seeing Eniola more, but it's so nice to have you.
Yeah, but I'm more excited about our guest, I love his content on TikTok, that's one of the reasons why I was able to see if we could get him on the podcast, and I'm really glad that he's here today.
Okay, we'll let our guest introduce himself.
Thank you very much. My name is Folajomi. I am a real estate content creator. I excite and inform people about real estate and construction in general. Okay. Yes.
Our episode today is going to be very exciting since we have anyone. Okay, so now to the topic. Before we get into our conversation, tell us a bit about why did you start informing people about real estate and all of those things?
I found out that even down to, family members, you will have issues where there are gaps, where people don't know a lot about what's going on in construction and real estate in general. Where, like our parents did, you find maybe an omonile, you buy land and you hope for the best. Now, over time, that has changed because there's a lot of fraud in the industry. The government is now more strict about policies around ownership and stuff like that.
Okay. So would you say there's a difference between then and now? Like when people want to invest, would you say that it's still a good, real estate is still a good investment, considering foreign exchange and everything? What would you say?
On the old versus new, I would say it's very different now.
Yeah.
Back then, there weren't so many people in Lagos. I'm familiar with Lagos because that's where I lived all my life. There were not so many people. Yeah. Now there is high demand, much more demand than there was back then.
Yeah.
So that automatically means that fraud comes into play.
Of course.
So back then, you just buy from any omonile you see and you'll be fine. These days, if you meet 10 people selling land, probably 8 out of them are scammers or they don't have the right to sell. So it's a lot unsafe now if you are not well informed, so to speak, or you're not, buying from the right set of people. So it's a lot different. On the foreign exchange part, if you are not interested in Nigeria, please, I can't speak to you. You are done.
So what about people that go abroad and say, let me send money back, I'm not coming back, or let me just...
For those, there's still hope. There's still hope because if you look at data, I think Mixta publishes data about...
Yeah.
Yes, so if you look at the information, you can tell that there's a lot of demand. A lot of people, while Nigeria is still in an economic, stagnation, so to speak, still people are still moving up. A lot of people are crossing the poverty, threshold and they are able to afford more. So that will mean that there is still more opportunity for people to key into real estate. But no matter what, land prices always go up.
Yeah.
So whether foreign exchange this or policy that, land would always increase.
To that point, I don't know if you saw sometime last year, there was a popular, or would I say someone in the tech industry, he gave his own example about how he doesn't feel real estate is a good, I don't want to call any names, but I'm sure you saw the tweet. What would you say to that, saying real estate is not a very viable option for people right now? And also, what are some of the misconceptions and perceptions around real estate right now?
About real estate not being a good idea. As I said, for those that don't want to, you can't convince them. But for those with open minds, by all means diversify. You can't only have real estate. But for real estate itself, imagine you buying a property for 50 million in 2020. Yes, the dollar was less than 1,000 then. But now, your real estate is definitely at least double that price. It might not be counted as, what's the word? Capital appreciation. Yeah. But it didn't stay stagnant when inflation was going up. Yeah. So that means it's a good store of value. That guarantees that no matter what happens, if you left the money in your account, you are worse off. Stocks, they are more liquid. They are an option. But with real estate, you don't have to worry about too much. just join the the bandwagon of those that are buying, and definitely once you buy right, you are good to go. Yes.
You know how you said everybody's moving to Lagos, like everybody wants to, because I believe that how people have this perception that Lagos is where it's happening. So would you say there are other places apart from Lagos, like other cities or states that are more that real estate is a good investment for?
I think it's safe to say that wherever there is a seaport, real estate prices will go up, at least faster than everywhere else. And that's because commerce comes in through there. Nigeria is an import big country.
Yeah.
So there will be work, there will be jobs around those ports. And guaranteed Lagos is doing well. Port Harcourt is doing well. Abuja now doesn't have a port, but it is the capital of Nigeria. So definitely work, money, commerce will come from there, and that generally grows an economy. And land is as valuable, real estate is as valuable as those who want it. If we suddenly don't want gold again, and maybe gold has been discovered to cause cancer, definitely prices will crash. But for now, we know that real estate is, I think according to Maslow, is like second most important thing after food, security. So if people have to sleep and wake up, real estate is important. Tech, for example, all the tech that we know, everything about tech has to happen in the space of real estate. So whether it's a cloud somewhere, that's definitely a building on a land. Whether it's a server, whatever it is, definitely, even offices, where we are now is real estate. So definitely it's too important for it to crash anytime soon.
So piggybacking off your point about, real estate being very valuable, what would you say there are some risks involved in investing in real estate in Nigeria? Do you feel there are? If yes, please,
Everything in Nigeria, you have to shine your eye. Real estate, I would say the biggest problem is fraud. And the reason is because where there is demand, there will definitely be bad actors. Yeah. It is compulsory. And how to solve that is simple. Buy from the right people. Get more information about what you are buying, and don't just buy from anywhere.
Yeah.
And an example would be buying a Prada bag at the Saleko.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. You don't expect to get good quality stuff there. Then don't go there.
Yeah.
You understand? If you want to buy, I would always say buying from Omonile is a bad idea.
Yeah, come to Mixta.
Exactly. Yeah. The reason is because with Omoniles, you don't know where exactly you're buying from. There's a lot of drama. In fact, it will cost you more in legal fees trying to figure out who is the right person to buy from.
You won't spend more.
Exactly. And like most places in Nigeria, there is always an estate where it commands 2x the price of those outside that estate. So it makes sense to buy from a developer that is keen on good stuff, because there are also bad actors in development as well. So buy from good developers, buy in estates, your appreciation is going to be more stable. And because exactly, security, sense of community, and the I pass my neighbor vibe that most Nigerians have. When you are, enclosed in that space, your asset grows more. I'll give an example. Somewhere, I'm using Mixta now, Lakwe Lakes. At that same Lakwe Lakes, there are some, buildings, there are some lands, properties on that road that command 1/4, 1/8 of the price of that place, because people don't feel like that place belongs. It looks like everywhere else. It's like Ikoyi being the back of Obalende. For those that are familiar with Ikoyi, Ikoyi is maybe ₦1 million per square meter now, I don't know. But Obalende doesn't command as much. And that's just the way it is. Yeah. The sense of community would always provide more value. Okay. So how to mitigate fraud is buying from the right people. And apart from that, do your own due diligence yourself. I'm not saying there are not good companies out there, but it's best you check, you try, then you trust.
Okay, so I saw the video that you did on your series on, how things are changing in the market, construction costs, people cutting corners. How does an investor mitigate against that?
Buy from those that don't cut corners. I think that is as simple as it goes, and be reasonable as well. For example, if you are keen into a development, and dollar was at 500 when you keyed in. Over the course of 18 months, dollar went to 1,800. It is only fair if the developer comes back to ask for some more money. Because
What?
What the heck? Like my own mind.
No.
Okay, so you expect. Oh, so wait, what are you encouraging? Are you expecting the developer to just say she paid?
No. I'm just saying, like, for example, maybe I put all the money account together, I paid the developer. I'm thinking, okay, I want to rest.
Like how?
No.
Yeah, like how?
Just be realistic.
Because, like he said, you have to be realistic. Like you can't drop money and say, okay, well, I've done my own part. Like he said, you went high up.
that difference, that disparity is too much. If you went from 500 to 750 to 800,
Yeah,
it's fair. But all the way to 1,800,
Who's a fear?
the money that you give them, they are going to use to buy cement.
Yeah.
They are going to use to buy stuff to actually deliver those properties.
So now, would you actually now tell our viewers, because you know the reason we do this is to inform. So would you tell our viewers to, if they are like land, would you prefer that they invest more in land? Because now, you know, with the cost of building a house, so would you prefer that they invest more in land?
I think the first thing, the most important thing for them is their why.
Okay.
Why are they investing in real estate? There are a lot of reasons. Some people use it as a store of value. In that case, it will make sense to buy land
Yeah.
because you are done. You sell and you move on. If you are looking for capital appreciation plus, return dividends, so to speak, it makes sense to go for built structures because then you can make money from rent and all that. Yeah. There are cases where you can buy land, where you can actually rent out the land, event centers, things like that, that need your land. But as I said, it's your why that is important. So you can't fall into every category. You are the one that is going to look inwards. This 100 million I have, what do I want to achieve with it? Have I gotten to a point in my life where I'm stable enough that if I put it in and I'm making 8 million naira per year for the next maybe 80 years, I'm fine. Then it makes sense for you to go into tenancy and stuff. But if you are looking for, you have an amount, same 100 million, and you're not using it for now, maybe because you are into contracts, things like that. You need it against next year. Makes sense. Tie it into land. By next year, sell your thing and makes sense.
So to that point, I want to ask, how long should the investor wait if they want to resell the land? Like, is there a time that is it like 6 months, a year, or is there a right time that people can just wake up and let me sell this land? Or you also have to watch the market trends to make sure?
First off, there's something I want to say here that might cause a bit of trouble. And is that when you buy land, the day you pay for that land is not its value yet. Because there was cost in acquiring you as a customer. Agents were paid, ads were run. So if the developer is selling to you at 100 million naira, that land is probably 90 million. Yes. So you have to wait.
So how long do you have to wait for you to get back to that 100 million?
Usually depending. If it's a big estate, then probably 8 months, a year. If it's something quite slow, like then maybe 10 years. So there are lands you buy in places like Songwater, where 2013 they were 3 million. 2024, they are 4 million.
Yeah.
And there are places you bought in Ibejuleki that they were 50 million last year, and they're already 75 million this year. So it really depends.
Okay, so time, place where you buy your land and, the environment.
Yeah. Okay, so we have some questions from our viewers. And my first question is, if you had $1 million, how would you invest in real estate today, both home and abroad?
$1 million and you want to invest everything in real estate? No. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversify. Go into industry on some, go your large chunk, maybe 75% into real estate. And even that, divide it into different portions. Buy one in Port Harcourt, buy one in Lagos. Within Lagos, buy one in Ibejuleki, buy one in Ekpe, buy one in Ikoyi, if you can. And then your remaining 25%.
Dollars. Ikoyi, Ibejuleki. I'm trying to calculate not.
It depends on what you're buying. There are mini flats, there are 1-bedroom apartments that don't cost as much as, yes. So it depends on what you're actually going for. I would say 75% real estate, then 25% elsewhere. And within that real estate to spread out so that you're covered.
So the second question goes, what resources or support networks are available to assist investors in navigating the complexities of Nigerian real estate investment?
First is your realtor. Your realtor has a general overview of what is required, when it comes to purchasing that property. And one of the most offensive things, I'm not a realtor, but one of the most offensive things I've ever heard them complain about is when they ask you what your budget is, and you're like, I don't know. You know fully well how much is in your account and how much you're willing to spend. So that's on the one hand. On the other hand is the lawyer. Your lawyer is supposed to make sure that all the legal parts are covered. Is this person that is selling to me, does he have the right to sell? Even when it comes to development companies, good development companies let you check. And I know that will not be strange in you guys' case. No. You understand? They let you check to confirm what is going on. Then third is your surveyor. Your surveyor is supposed to make sure that wherever they claim is the portion of land is actually verifiable in Alausa. Government is doing their own part. It's just that with limited resources, all they can do is sit in one place and let you come to them. They are not out there trying to, let everybody know, retail, that we are here. But with a surveyor, with a realtor, with a lawyer, you have an idea of where to check. And those are the systems available. But like most things, they are not free. You have to actually use money. So when you actually have 20 million, 30 million, 40 million to invest in the property, shave off about 5%, 8%, 7.5% to cover all these things required, so that your percentage that's left, that's about 82%, or I don't know maths again.
That loud is that loud? It's really a long time.
Is left to actually purchase that property.
Thank you so much. I'm sure our listeners have gained some really great, insightful knowledge today.
Very insightful. I mean, I feel like I want to invest now just by
I'm sure you have.
All right, thank you so much, Folajomi, for that. It was so insightful. Thank you for coming on our podcast, and thank you again to my ever-ready guest host. Like I said, you might be seeing me again. You never know. Well, and yeah, thank you, our listeners. I remain your ever glorious host, Norma, and we'll see you next time.